It's an issue that's been discussed ad nauseum for years: immigration reform. And while it's not clear exactly when a bill dealing with it will be passed, this issue is important enough that it must transcend mere political football. We can be pretty sure that any bill will include amnesty because that's what the ruling class on the left requires. Of course, the biggest problem with this is that amnesty demonstrates contempt for those who have obeyed our laws and are awaiting permission to legally emigrate to America. Can you imagine being a Filipino 12 years into a 15-year wait list and finding out that South Americans who jumped the border last month are allowed to stay without issue? This effectively gives a green light to everyone to say, just go ahead and come here and worry about the consequences later because there likely won't ever be any. That's hardly the right message to convey to the rest of the world. At the same time, it's true that we do, as always, need the lifeblood provided by immigrants. Our country's depended on them and benefited from them since its inception. And on the whole, they value being here, work at least as hard, and are at least as productive, if not more so, than those born here. But the increasingly generous welfare state America has become is also a beacon for those who want to game the system. Without the multitude of federal anti-poverty programs, 126 at last count, not to mention state funding, immigrants who are unprepared to make their own way wouldn't come here and be a drain on our resources. We're already bankrupting ourselves trying to pay for these programs for our native-born population. It will only hasten our demise if we open the floodgates to untold additional immigrant beneficiaries. What we should ultimately push for is a program in which all immigrants are sponsored. That is, some individual or entity pledges to support the immigrant in the event they are unable to do so themselves. We currently have sponsorship requirements in the law, but they need to be broadened and tightened to include almost all immigrants. By ensuring that taxpayers are not on the hook for new Americans, we can continue to enjoy all the benefits of immigration while minimizing the risks. More broadly speaking, we need immigration reform that sends two simultaneous messages. The first, that we will welcome you with open arms if you intend to be a productive participant in society. The second, that we will surely find you and deport you if your demonstrated intent is to feed at our welfare trough. But legislation aside, the transcendent issue on immigration centers around three Latin words: e pluribus unum, which means out of many, one. America's defining motto, one which describes our unique culture, our very identity as a nation. We've always been a melting pot, not a mosaic. But we no longer formally or informally require immigrants to integrate into a common American culture. And that's our fault, not theirs. Passing a law, any law, cannot fundamentally alter a society that increasingly encourages many separate cultures rather than a single common one. Unless and until we reverse this trend, any legislation to change our broken immigration system will fail to achieve what should be its ultimate objective: uniting an increasingly divided nation.